Hey, you guys want to learn a little bit about how inventory works here at Spineless Reads? I know it doesn't sound like the most exciting thing to learn about, but the reality is running a bookstore, the operations of the bookstore, a lot of it is selling, but a ton of it is doing inventory. And there's a lot of people that wonder, how do we get all these books into the shop? And what exactly does it look like on inventory day? Well, I'm going to show you. This is a typical Tuesday morning here at Spineless Reads. So what you're looking at is a stack of books delivered by Ingram. Ingram is the primary distributor that we get all of our books from. Basically, Ingram is a central hub for all of the publishers to send their books out to bookstores, unless, of course, the bookstores have direct sales agreements with publishers, which you could understand would get out of, it would be hard to manage because of the sheer number of publishers. Now, it's not hard to imagine that I could plan to do a lot of this on Tuesdays when we're at our slowest, and that is exactly what I normally plan to do, but I don't always get to control when that delivery comes. Sometimes it comes on a Wednesday, sometimes a Thursday, but I do get a delivery every week because I place an order every week. And those orders generally take about 6 business days to fulfill from the point of order to the point of delivery. So yeah, this is kind of the thing. If you are looking at the maybe less fantastic parts about owning a retail bookstore, this is the part you hear people mention as the hard work, right? You need to be in shape, you need to be strong, you need to have your health when you own a bookshop. This is why, because of the sheer amount of paper, honestly, that you're moving. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some of the basics about how I order my books and how I put those books into inventory here at the bookshop, and then how we track those orders using our Shopify point of sale system. All right, let's get to it. Now, one of the cool things about Ingram shipping is that they do list the contents on a label on the exterior of the box. So here I can see the book title, which purchase order it came from, the quantity of that title in that box, and the SKU or the ISBN for the book. So it's a little easier for me to figure out what to unpack in what order if I want, just by looking at these labels. It's nice to have for me, but it's not something I necessarily lean on heavily here in the store because every box gets unpacked at the same time. Everything gets put out into inventory. I don't keep anything in the back. Now, this would be helpful for people that take these boxes and bring them right into a back storeroom and keep them on a shelf until they come out, because then you'd know what was in each box and you'd know when to extract that box for inventory. But yeah, I just generally unpack everything and put all of my books out into the shop as soon as they arrive. Like any distribution system or any seller, there's humans involved and they make mistakes. And outside of the general mistakes that they might make processing those inventories, they also sometimes come damaged. Let's take a look. Don't beat me up about using scissors. Should have a box cutter for this. And of course, I'm opening it from the bottom. All right, let me flip this back over. Dude, this box took a beating too. It's not exactly in the best of shape. I always get nervous when these come in like this because I worry that they're going to be damaged. But let me see if I can get a good view of the inside of the box. This was one of the coolest things about getting a book shipment for the first time, is seeing how they actually wrap the books to try and protect them. So let's see if I can do this. Yeah, you can see it's all wrapped in plastic to try and keep it dry. And they also use these sweet, like, bubble shipping things, which I've had millions of them running around my basement or here in the shop's back office. But yeah, they wrap them in plastic, which is nice because it improves the chances of them not being damaged during shipping with the exposure to things like rain or just general conditions within the shipping process, getting from Tennessee or Pennsylvania or wherever they're coming from the country to our shop here in Virginia. So now what I'll do is I'll just cut this open and carry the books over to my counter. Just got to be careful not to damage the books when you're doing this because, of course, trying to sell a damaged book isn't the best thing. The last thing you want to do is have it get safely to you from across country, and then once it's in your possession, you damage it. So, and the way the return policy works with Ingram, the books have to be in new condition, resellable condition, unless they come ship damaged. Now, the reason I take these out and I set them on my counter is because I'll lay them all facing cover up so that I can get a video of them and put that on my social media, so the people that follow us on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or wherever, they can see what inventory came in this week just by watching and following us on Instagram or following us on any of those social media platforms. And yeah, it's great because they may have been waiting for that book to come in, and they get to see it the moment you're processing it into the shop. So that's been one of the things I've been doing since I opened the shop to keep people engaged with us on social media and to keep people interested in what we're doing, is to post the inventory online. And you know, they don't discriminate when they put these books in a box. It's not like they organize them by genre or by type. You'll get paperbacks, hardcovers, kids books mixed with any type of adult genre fiction, whatever. It all comes together in the same box. So you just have to kind of lay it out and get your pictures. So I try to theme them when I put them on the table. So if someone's following on socials and they see the covers on the video, they're following a theme as they go. But yeah, that's it. I'll just keep unpacking the boxes. I'll load this whole table up, and then once I can't fit any more on the table, I'll shoot my video, and I'll keep that video in my phone until I'm ready to compile them all to show this week's inventory drop. So now that I have all of the books on the countertop, on my checkout counter, I'm gonna go ahead and do a filming of all the covers, and then, like I said, I'll just hold that in my phone's files until I'm ready to put the video together and post it on social media. But what I wanted to do real quick is just show you how it looks on the countertop before I film. Now, this is not the video I'm gonna use on social media, and this is not the camera I would use. I just usually shoot it with my iPhone, do a quick scan from left to right on the countertop, and then call it good. So if you're curious about what any of those videos looks like, go check us out on any of those social media channels I mentioned, and you can see for yourself what the videos look like. Okay, I'm gonna flip the camera around here and get a quick shot of the countertop so you can see. Now, I had made a comment about how we get a mix of genres in the shipment every week, and this is a pretty good example of that. You'll see the mix for yourself. So here we've got a whole countertop full of new books to be inventoried, and most of these have not been in my store's inventory previously. So I have to add them using my point of sale system to put them into my inventory, make them visible in our online store, and make them visible to our checkout counter, so that when we go in the point of sale system and do checkout with a customer, it'll actually ring up the book. I'm going to take a book and I'm going to come over to my Shopify point of sale system, and I can just use the ISBN Express app, which I've added a shortcut to, and I take a book that has not been in inventory before, and all I have to do is put it in front of the camera on the iPad here, and you may notice that it says imported book with the ISBN number, and now that book has been added to my system. And what it's doing is it's pulling the metadata for those books. So the cover image, the book's description, any pre-established information about the book that's in Ingram will now upload to my point of sale system. Now, sometimes the price doesn't update, and obviously the quantity needs to be adjusted, and I'll show you guys how I do all that in a little bit. But if I try to add a book that's already been added before, it'll import it or scan it, trying to, and then it'll say, oh, it already exists in your inventory. Pretty sweet. So it's smart enough to know obviously, whether that book has been in your inventory before. And I literally just go right down the line here and add all the new titles to my point of sale system. And then I'll go in and I'll adjust quantities and put the books on my shelves. So now when I want to adjust the quantity and inspect the metadata for the book before it goes on the shelf, I'm going to go to my Shopify app within my smartphone here. I'm going to click on an ISBN search or scan the barcode, and I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to scan the barcode, and it's going to come up. It's going to bring up any titles that are already in the system. There's Fahrenheit 451, and it's going to show me all the metadata that loaded. Now this one's already active because it's already been in my inventory. So what I want to do now is just confirm this price, $17, matches what's in the system. And then I'm going to adjust my inventory count. I have 2 of these in my inventory. I'm going to hit save. And then I'm going to take both of these books and I'm going to walk over to that shelf, right? And add it to my inventory. So there you go. That's the basics of how I put books into inventory here at Spineless Reads. Again, we're a fiction bookseller here in Williamsburg, Virginia. We'd love for you guys to come visit us. And also, if you'd like to support us here on YouTube, just go ahead and like and subscribe this video. Every time you do that, it helps our video reach new readers, new fans of the channel, and we'd really appreciate that. And I mean, who doesn't want to hang out with a bookstore? So yeah, there's not a whole lot to it. We are a pretty simple operation. If you had a larger store with significantly more complexity to your point of sale system, you would have probably a more complex intake process. You would most likely have multiple users in your point of sale system. You'd most likely have different days of the week where you were processing a shipment equal to the one you saw in this video or even bigger. And for us, it usually ends up being 1 to 2 days a week, every week consistently. My job is to sell books to readers. My business survives when I do that, right? And no matter how much I love different genres or love a certain book in our inventory, the reality is we're here for readers. And if they can't find a book here, we could lose a sale. We could lose the opportunity to connect with a reader in our community. And so we try really hard to make sure that we stack the right books, the right quantities of books in our store. And it's a balance, right? You are going to spend close to 60% of all of your profit just to reimburse your inventory if you went literally cover to cover, book to book, right? So we spend a significant amount of our earnings on replenishing our inventory. And that happens on a week to week basis. So what does that mean? The majority of my life as a bookseller is ordering and receiving and intaking books every week consistently. It's just this constant cycle of order, receive, intake, order, receive, intake every week. And if you can do that and you can keep up and you can keep people reading, you're going to constantly rotate your titles, which is good because people want to see new titles when they come into your shop. You're going to be able to present a new opportunity to every reader, and you're going to be really busy. So that's what keeps us on our toes here at Spineless Reads is inventory. And I know this wasn't the sexiest topic to observe, but hey, that's what we're doing a significant amount of our time as a bookstore. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video very soon.